Start, sir, with your permission, sir.
Yeah, you can start. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Good afternoon. I welcome you all to today's e-conference on finance in agriculture and food processing. Include microfinance in strengthening the agri clusters, self-help group MSME in agro-processing sector. I welcome. We are really honored to have with us the eminent panelist, Mr. B. Pradhan, Special Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture, Government of India, who would be joining soon. We welcome Mr. Subrata Mandal, Chief General Manager, Kolkata. Thank you for your honored presence and support from NABARD. We are to Mr. Executive Chairman and Managing Director, Agro Capital, Dr. P. Satish, Executive Director, Sadhan. Thank you for joining us. Mr. Rashpal Singh, Director, Northern Farmers Mega FPO, and Mr. Puneet Singh Thin, our Director, Northern Farmers FPO, and also moderator for today's program. Sir, as you are aware that agriculture and sector of India has been hit drastically due to the unprecedented lockdown. Commerce, we are trying to find out the strategy and way forward for rejuvenating and strengthening the procurement of raw material, processing, post-harvest management, storage, including cold chain, transportation and supply chain. Also, we are trying to streamlining financial sources, domestic market linkages, exports, and other allied activities of agriculture and processed food sector of the country. Keeping this in view, ICC is organizing this today's e-conference on finance in agriculture and food processing sector of India. Primarily focus on all the perspective of the role of including microfinance and all the financial institutions towards the FPOs, agri clusters, micro and small entrepreneurs, and also entrepreneurs in agro and food processing sector of the country. Today's discussions are expected to find out some possible ideas and solutions to safeguard the livelihood of the farmers, processors, traders, and other key stakeholders. Today's e-conference will also further focus on reduction of past debts and even flow of liquid money in hand of farmers for the procurement of farm equipment, seeds and inputs. It will also ensure proper channelizing of the credit outlet by the government through proper financial institutions, funding agencies and government agencies. Several ideas will be generated as to how proper and timely distribution of the credit in equal quantum can be enabled with a designated pool of credit for developing farm gate infrastructure at farm and factory levels. We will also try to identify easy and reliable procedure to access the credit with least paperwork, lower interest and flexible repayment modes combining the EMI. Finally, how to integrate agricultural education, research and extension services, and how to strengthen the capacity building of farmers to ensure that the loan amount invested turns into profit and income to enable the farmer to return the loan will be discussed in detail. With these few words, I once again welcome our esteemed speakers and also our delegates attendees today's e-conference. And now I would request Mr. Thin to take the floor. And I would request Mr. Thin, if you could combine your moderation and also I would request other panelists also to speak some in English and also Hindi. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Over
Madhu.
to Mr. Thin.
Thank you. I'm audible. Can someone confirm if voice is clear? Yeah, okay.
Yes, sir, it's clear.
Yeah, you're clear. You're audible.
First of all, I thank ICC and congratulate Indian Chamber of Commerce to organize yet another very important this session on finance in agriculture and food processing sector, which is one of the most important subject in Indian agriculture. On behalf of Northern Farmers Mega FPO, we welcome all the participants, especially Special Secretary Sir Mr. B. Pradhan. I hope very soon he will be with us for this session. Mr. Subrata Mandal, Chief CGM NABARD from Kolkata. Dr. P. Satish, Executive Director Sadhan, my colleague with me from Northern Farmers, Rishpal Singh ji. He was working with the UCO Bank before joining us as a GM. He was there in Kolkata only for quite a long period of time. And all the participants who are participating with us in this session. So I hope participants from all over the country are with us in this session. So मैं हिंदी इंग्लिश कॉम्बिनेशन यूज करूंगा अपनी बात शुरू करने के लिए और कहने के लिए सभी साथियों का नमस्कार एक बार फिर अपनी तरफ से मैं धन्यवाद करता हूं और इस सेशन को शुरू करने से पहले जैसे मधु मैडम ने इसकी नीड को बताया the agenda for e-commerce is today the finance in agriculture and food processing sector. जब भी हम कोई बिजनेस एक्टिविटी जैसे हम एफपीओ में काम करते हैं एग्रीगेशन का कोई काम करें फूड प्रोसेसिंग में काम करें तो सबसे जो ज़्यादा हमारा ध्यान रहता है या चैलेंज कह लीजिए वो रहता है टू हाउ टू गेट एक्सेस टू क्रेडिट. अब इसमें क्यों दिक्कतें आ रही हैं वो एक विषय आज हम हमारे जो को पैनलिस्ट हैं सब्जेक्ट पे बात करेंगे. लेकिन एक फार्मर की तरफ से या एक इंडस्ट्री अगर छोटा कोई किसान फूड प्रोसेसिंग इंडस्ट्री की तरफ से हम बात करें तो इसमें सबसे बड़ा जो हमें चैलेंज आता है मैं बिल्कुल छोटे किसानों की अगर बात करूं जो हम पंजाब हरियाणा राजस्थान यहाँ फेस कर रहे हैं वो यही है कि जब हम कोई अपनी प्रपोजल बैंक के पास लेके जाते हैं जब उसकी वैल्यूएशन होती है आई मीन काफ़ी उसमें मिसिंग लिंक रहते हैं. फाइनेंशियल लिटरेसी उसका एक पार्ट है क्योंकि हमारी कोई अच्छी क्रेडिट हिस्ट्री पहले नहीं होती. जो केसीसी लिमिट है जो हम बैंक से जो हमें कंसेशनल जो सबवेंशन में केसीसी लोन मिलता है उसमें दो तरह की अगर मैं कहूँ तो दिक्कत आती है. एक तो उसमें उसकी रीपेमेंट की दिक्कत की मैं बात कर रहा हूँ. पहला तो ये है कि जब उसकी हम रीपेमेंट करते हैं तो उसमें तो कुछ जेन्युइन रीज़न होते हैं. जेन्युइन रीज़न क्रॉप फेलियर मौसम की वजह से मानसून की वजह से कभी बाढ़ की वजह से तो कुछ तो उसमें जेन्युइन रीज़न है ही है कि जिस वजह से वो टाइम पे नहीं हो पाता. रशपाल जी आगे उसका जो उनका पूरी ज़िंदगी का तजर्बा है वो शेयर करेंगे. फार्मर की तरफ से हम ये समझते हैं कुछ चीज़ें जेन्युइन होती हैं और दूसरी तरफ कई बार जो हमें वो क्रेडिट मिलता है होता है अक्सर उसका जो यूटिलाइजेशन है वो उस काम में नहीं होता. कुछ ऐसे मिस यूज़ कह लीजिए या उसको हम जो यूज़ करते हैं उस वजह से एक हमारी जो क्रेडिट हिस्ट्री है मैं फार्मर की अगर बात करूं तो वो ख़राब होती है. जब हम फूड प्रोसेसिंग की बात करते हैं वर्किंग कैपिटल लोन की बात करते हैं नेचुरली उसमें वायबिलिटी उसकी प्रोजेक्ट की वायबिलिटी सप्लाई चेन में हमने खासकर देखा है. सप्लाई चेन का कोई प्रोजेक्ट होगा जो हम कोल्ड चेन का प्रोजेक्ट लगाएं या कोई राइपनिंग का प्रोजेक्ट है तो ज़्यादातर जो सप्लाई चेन से रिलेटेड प्रोजेक्ट हैं इनमें एक जो वायबिलिटी है वो एक लंबे समय में जाके आती है. देयर कम्स एन इशू फॉर रीपेमेंट. तो ये सारे जो चैलेंजेस हैं और ऐसे जो प्रोडक्ट हैं जो बैंक से अगर हम बात करें वी नीड टू रिकंसिडर कि फार्म के लिए जितने प्रोडक्ट होने चाहिए थे या एग्री प्रोसेसिंग के लिए जितने प्रोडक्ट की हमें जरूरत थी वो प्रोडक्ट आज हमारे पास नहीं है, उसका सीधा इम्पैक्ट जो फार्मर की जो फार्म इकोनॉमिक्स है उसके ऊपर पड़ता है। एक बड़ा जो इससे जुड़ा हुआ सेक्टर है वो क्रॉप इंश्योरेंस है। क्रॉप इंश्योरेंस के अच्छे प्रोडक्ट जो ना होने की प्राइवेट सेक्टर की अगर हम बात करें गवर्नमेंट के प्रोग्राम के अलावा, अगर हमारे देश में कैश क्रॉप के लिए क्रॉप इंश्योरेंस के कोई अच्छे प्रोडक्ट आ जाएं तो वो फार्मर की इकोनॉमिक्स को बचा सकते हैं, जिसका सीधा इम्पैक्ट हमारी क्रेडिट अवेलेबिलिटी और उसकी रीपेमेंट में पड़ेगा। अगर रीपेमेंट अच्छी होगी तो नेचुरली उसका जो आगे साइकिल है उसकी अवेलेबिलिटी फार्मर के लिए अच्छी हो सकती है। सिंस ये मेरा कि टेक्निकल सब्जेक्ट नहीं है, मैं फार्मर और एंटरप्रेन्योर के तौर पर आई कैन जस्ट टॉक अबाउट द चैलेंजेस। सो मैं ज़्यादा समय ना लेता हुआ आई वुड रिक्वेस्ट माय कोलीग रिशपाल सिंह टू talk on this subject with his experience of working in Punjab. He was in Uttarakhand, Jammu, Jaipur. He spent quite a lot of time और उसके बाद कोलकाता में वो थे। तो रिशपाल सिंह जी खुद ही कम्स फ्रॉम एग्रीकल्चर फैमिली, अपनी इनकी खेती है सारी खेती को बड़ा ही हैज हैंड ऑन एक्सपीरियंस ऑन एग्रीकल्चर एंड बैंकिंग एक्सपीरियंस। सो ही इज द a perfect combination, I would say, of someone who can talk from his experience. So Rishpal ji, I request you to take the this discussion further now. Thank you.
थैंक यू पुनीत जी। एम आई ऑडिबल? मेरी आवाज
Yes,
आ रही?
आ रही
Okay,
carry
okay.
on.
At the outset, in webinar, I also thank NABARD for their coming over here. Debt. So we have to analyze it. By both the sides, from banker's point of view as well as from agriculture, from farmer's point of view. So only 60%. And mainly money lend.
Sorry, Rishpal, participant, is it cracking? Sorry, carry on.
Farmers.
We cannot hear. We cannot hear Rishpal Singh ji actually.
रिशपाल जी
Because,
रिशपाल जी आवाज
this,
रिशपाल जी आवाज बैक हो रही है.
so we have to, if we,
हेलो.
the moment I'll go out. Actually,
Yeah.
inside there is a problem. Just give me a minute. 1 minute only.
I think there is a network issue. Voice is
Yeah.
cracking. A special secretary sir has joined already on.
He will be joining any moment.
Okay.
So I can.
So let Rishpal ji continue. I think just checking his network.
Otherwise, Dr. P. Satish can speak.
Dr. Satish, meantime, we can hold Rishpal ji for a minute. Mr.
Apni ji, am I audible now?
You want me to speak?
Rishpal ji, we can just check other. It is.
Am I audible?
I think he's audible.
Yeah, it's better now. Please continue.
Actually, there is a network problem over here.
Okay, please continue.
Okay. For trouble. Okay, we were talking about. Okay,
Even without video, it is okay.
okay, no, it's there. It's there. So, Kisan credit card, we are not able to meet a requirement. Or construct a house. We have no product for the farmer. And what he will do? He will go to the banks, kindly give me
Mr. Puneet.
Jaspalji, there is a network problem at your end, sir. You please
Yeah,
just switch
we
off
can
your
hear you.
video and just continue, sir.
his
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. It will.
I'll do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, sir. So now it's clear, I think. Is it okay, sir, now? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, the problem at farmers end is that we are not, as bankers, we are not able to give him the products which he wants. So we will give him only a term loan. So KCC is normally misutilized. There is a overdue because he puts his short-term money which he has at his hand for long-term uses. And then there are crop failures. There is a price crash like we have in onion, that is best example. It sells, sometimes sells for rupee 1 a kg. Then farmer can have domestic problems also. But the main problem is that, for example, I was in Rajasthan, so there we had only around 2% default rate. But before that last election, the 1 year before that election, our overdue started increasing. From 2%, it went to 5, then 10, then 20, then 40. Then we panicked and we organized meetings of farmers. And they told, sir, हम पैसे की कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, लेकिन गवर्नमेंट हम एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं कि गवर्नमेंट डेट वेवर लाएगी और वो जो जिसका ओवरड्यू होगा उसको डिफॉल्टर को तो मिल जाएगा, हमें नहीं मिलेगा. And that's how we lost our lot of portfolio. So that is also one of the reasons. And then in particular in Punjab, the private lenders, private banks rather, they are over financing the farmers to the extent that even some of the banks, they would give 2 lakh to 5 lakh per acre loan without giving any regard to this scale of finance decided by state level technical committee. So these are the basic reasons why there are overdues, and then how we can reduce. That is the issue. Because if we are not able to reduce the overdues, then bankers would definitely not finance them further. And short term, there is a debt waiver, as I already told. And then banker can, what we can do is we can reschedule the loans into term loan and give him fresh KCC. So that can help. And then, of course, we are writing off some of the loans. But the real uh, improvement can come only when we improve efficiency at farm level. And by efficiency, I mean uh, we are losing around 30% of crops because of poor post-harvest management. And this is where we need to step into as institutions. And we can prevent that loss by adopting cold storage, proper grading, proper packing. And then there are, like in northern India, we are relying on wheat rotation only. So we have to diversify. We have to diversify our risk. And as Puniji said, financial literacy and credit counseling, that is one of the issues. Because most of the farmers, they understand what is the KCC, what does it mean to take loan from the bank, how they have to return it, what are the limitations with the bankers and that to their farm as a business enterprise. And then use of technology. We are not able to leverage technology for the benefit of farmers. Like we have now ENAM, Electronic National Agriculture Market, but only it's non-starter rather. And then at farm level, we can adopt technology much required. Then we soil health, that is also required. So these are the things which we have to do to improve efficiency at the farm level. And then uh, we have to do some value addition at farm level. And another, sorry, another thing we can do is like a lot of our products are rejected by exporters because our produce contains a lot of pesticide residues. So we have to improve our quality, and we have to go for quality assurance. We have to go for organic, INDGAP, Global Gap, these certifications, quality assurance certification, that we are able to match global markets, global standards. See, if my product is Global Gap certified, I can sell it at any European market. I can send my shipment and I can sell it at any of the market over there in open market. But if it is not, then we cannot. And then lastly, FPOs, farmer producer companies. I think these are the future of Indian farming because individual farmers, we have a lot of small farmers having 1 acre, 2 acre land. and it's not viable, that cultivation. Already in Punjab, the small farmers, they have stopped farming and they have leased their land to aggregators who are cultivating say, 30 acre, 40, 50. There are a few who cultivate in 1,000 acres also, but there are no small farmers left in Punjab. They have stopped cultivating because it's not viable, and they are looking for some other professions, or they have become shopkeepers. So, secondly, when we talk about ensuring proper channelizing through proper lending institutions, so banking facilities are, I think, these are quite spread now, and we have every village with the population of 2,000 or above has a business correspondence, and banking services are available. But another area where FPOs, this is another area where FPOs can be roped in. It's in the charter of FPO that it can lend to their members. So they can finance to their members. They can get a loan from lend a line of credit from banks, and further lend it to their members. So in turn, it will improve efficiency. As bankers, they will be dealing with only one person, that is FPO, and in turn, FPO would deal with its own members, whom they know very well, and there won't be any, I think, delinquency in lending. And then microfinance companies are also penetrating in villages. But main problem with these microfinance companies is that their credit is very costly. So then proper and timely distribution of credit, I think this is the most important thing. If we say a farmer or an entrepreneur has to start his work, he is not able to get the loan timely, then I think it's worthless. So if he has to sow, say, paddy or say tomato crop, then he has to have access to credit to buy seeds, to buy fertilizer and chemicals in time. Similarly, for entrepreneurs, they have to buy it timely. Otherwise, they will fail. So, proper and timely distribution credit is very necessary. And then farm infrastructure, that is where we need to work out, because say post-harvest technology. As I said,
Rashpalji, can you please be brief so that
okay,
we can take
okay. I'll finish within 2 minutes. So, post-harvest technology is where we can reduce our wastage. So that is a need of the day. And then we should integrate agriculture, research and extension sources. Research is the one field where we are not able to integrate it to fields, and seeds, irrigation, machinery, post-harvest, storage, food processing, minimal food processing. These are the fields where we have not been able to do justice, and close coordination with the universities is required. So this is all from my side, and I think technology is one major issue. Unless until technology is made available to the farmer and he is made to learn it, then future we will not be able to meet our food requirements. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Rashpalji. Thank you so much for your input. Yes, we know there are many gray areas, and you rightly try to highlight those areas and challenges. Now, taking it further, our discussion, I would like to invite P. Satish with us, who is the Executive Director from Sadhan. So we look forward to hear from Satish ji, his input on this subject.
Yeah.
Satish ji.
Thank you, Mr. Puneet, for this invitation, and also I thank Indian Chamber of Commerce for organizing this e-event on such an important issue. Without repeating the main points which Rashpal Singh ji has mentioned, I would only look at the what exactly is the infrastructure which is available for us to finance these areas, either agriculture, food processing, agro processing, or the MSMEs which are involved in agriculture. Basically, if we look at, we can divide this financing infrastructure into three levels. One is the mainstream one, where we can put all the banks, public sector banks, private sector banks, SFBs, the regional rural banks, and all in that as the mainstream infrastructure for financing. Then we have the subsidiary infrastructure, which are basically the NBFCs and the MFIs. And in between these, we have the infrastructure, which we can call it as intermediary, which is the cooperative sector. Now, when we first look at the subsidiary infrastructure of NBFCs and MFIs, they have a lot of advantages in the sense that they are closer to their clients, and many of them have specialized in the activities. We have a good number of NBFCs which specialize in various types of agriculture financing, like we have institutions like Mahindra, we have institutions which finance for the tractors, we have institutions which finance only for food procurement. And so they are specialized, they are closer to the clientele, and they're able to do a monitoring and supervision in a very good manner. Similarly, we have microfinance institutions also at the grassroots level working with the lowest of the lower clientele. But only thing is that the amount of credit which the MFIs can give for their clients, even for agriculture, is limited. So it will be only a supplementary or to finance some of the additional expenditures as far as the farming is concerned. They can't finance a larger type of investments in the agriculture. But as Rashpal ji has mentioned, both the cost of credit of both NBFCs as well as MFIs is slightly larger than mainstream banks because they in turn have to borrow from other institutions and lend. But they play a very important role and they fill the gap which is left by the mainstream institutions. And we also have now specialized NBFCs which are financing only FPOs, especially in the south, like we have Samunnati, which only finances the FPOs. So we have a good number of institutions which are entering this area. But only thing, as it is in the radar of the government also, that we'll have to, in a timely manner, support the liquidity of this sector, both NBFCs and MFIs, so that they can support their in a more systematic and regular way. And especially we have seen in this pandemic, fastest to get back to their clients and start financing at least in small amounts. In that way, they are more dynamic and more closer to the clients. Another is, of course, we have the cooperative sector and all institutions which are owned by their clients. So the member-owned institutions, but the performance of this sector has been very mixed. We have good working cooperatives like Amul, and we have a large number of bad cooperatives also. But nevertheless, this is again another sector of the financial infrastructure, which is very near to the farmers, and farmers own these institutions. So there is a need again to revive these institutions and to strengthen them. And my previous institution, NABARD, it has done a lot for strengthening the cooperative sector. And even now, the new chairman also has mentioned a lot of schemes which NABARD wants to take to strengthen so that they can at the grassroots 50 that failed, but to fulfill the credit needs of the farmers and other sectors in the agriculture. So we have a infrastructure in terms of the cooperative banking sector, but we will have to do a lot of work because even in bureaucratic circles and regulatory circles, there is a lot of there are a lot of misgivings and a negative attitude towards the cooperatives. So that has to be overcome, and we have to see that these grassroots level institutions are again performing the roles in financing agriculture, FPOs, and agro processing related activities. Become mainstream banking institution, and as Rashpal ji has mentioned, we have a our banking infrastructure is unparalleled anywhere in the world. We have nearly 70 to 80,000 outlets in the rural level, not counting the banking outlets in the cities and major urban centers. And we have public sector banks, we have private sector banks, regional rural banks. Now we have small finance banks. And why I always say that we should not leave out this mainstream banking institution is that they are the most resource-rich institutions. So we will have to enthuse them, we will have to sensitize them to finance more and more for agriculture. And as other speakers have mentioned that for many of the rural bank branches, it is very easy for them to just give a KCC limit and forget about, and not go into deep with regard to other types of financing. Like now, if any person goes to a bank branch and asks for a specific loan for a new type of food processing activity, very confused, he will immediately say that we don't have such a scheme to finance such an activity. So this is the position of the branch banking as far as the mainstream banks are concerned. And now when you look at the credit flow, if you look at various figures which are brought out by the government, we feel that a lot of credit is flowing. Now if you look at this 2019-20, the total budgeted agricultural credit flow was 2 lakh crores, but the banks have achieved 13 lakh crores. It was 12 lakh crores, but banks have achieved 13 lakh crores. That means, and this is also in tune with the potentials which NABARD estimates every year for the agricultural credit. It means that everyone should be happy because all the entire banking sector has more than achieved its budgeted credit targets. But if you look at from the point of view of the actual users and the demand, then we see a lot of gaps. Then there is a big question mark. Where exactly is this credit going? Is the reporting correct? Or what activities are actually added in this agricultural credit flow? So these are genuine questions which always arise as far as the agricultural credit flow is concerned. And to bring to your notice that for the current financial year, that is 2020-21, the budgeted target for the agricultural credit is 15 lakh crores. It's a huge amount. But we will have to see that what are the types activities which we can infuse the bankers to finance, and in what way we can sensitize them to finance activities like FPOs, activities like agro processing, and activities like MSMEs which are working in the agriculture. So there is a lot of need for entire what we can say repositioning the bank branch network and their personnel to see that greater credit flow comes from the mainstream banking sector also, because they have the huge amount of resources with them. With this, I will stop at this level. Then at a later point, if there is any time, then I can add to the points made.
Thank you, Stejit. Thank you so much for your guiding point. And you rightly mentioned the importance of mainstream banking institution, and why Reliance should be more there. And we have seen practically, we have seen experience of dealing with the different lending institution and consequences of getting easy credit from easy sources. So you are right, and we can relate to most of your point. We can practically relate to the ground situation which is happening there. Now I would request with Mr. Sachindra Nathji. He is with us and very patiently he was I think waiting to speak. Sir, we have, I think, enough 10 to 15 minutes and the special secretary, sir, will be joining a bit later. So by the time, and we wish when he joined, and respected CGM, sir, we wish he share his view when respected around 4:15. So 10 to 15 minutes we have for discussion. And if there is any question about the discussion which we have so far, we can cover. So 10 minutes you can take for your discussion, and then we can 5 minutes we can spare for some question and answer. Thank you. I think you're mute, sir.
Okay. Yeah.
It is okay.
धन्यवाद पुनीत जी. मैं कोशिश करूंगा कि मैं 10 मिनट से भी ज्यादा संक्षेप में अपनी बात रखने की कोशिश करूं. Just as a matter of introduction, Ugrow Capital is a financing NBFC, which is a listed company. We started our business in 2018. This is a company when I founded, I raised roughly around 1,000 crore of equity capital, which was largest ever equity capital raise, and we are a specialized lending business. We use technology and data analytics, and we focus on 8 select sectors. Food processing is one of the sector which we focus quite extensively. So beside food processing, most of our other sectors are services or manufacturing. So education, healthcare, light engineering, electrical equipment manufacturing, chemical, auto component is the sector, and within those sectors we focus on subsectors. So in for example, in education we do K-12 play schools, so as in healthcare and so on and so forth. One of the reason, our underlying theme when we started building, obviously we all know that there is only 10% of MSME in India have access to credit. Satish ji was saying that obviously there is agriculture credit and banks, deep penetration of banks is there, but still when it comes to the financing of MSME, the access to credit is very, very poor. So we don't look at the rural economy and the agricultural financing because we don't have that kind of physical infrastructure availability. It takes almost 7-8 years to build that. So we rather focused on food processing, because within the MSME, the linkages for food processing unit and the access to credit for small MSMEs is very severe problem. In our way, and I'll given that we are in a specialized lending business and food processing is a sector. One of the reasons which we think so that which lenders don't understand is the sectoral nuances and what is happening to a particular sector. So for example, now when the coronavirus pandemic has hit, generally all lenders become risk averse and have stopped all the lending program. We during last 4 months did a deep sectoral analysis. CRISIL is our partner, and on ground research we do with them. I'll show you two slides. That's what's happening on the food processing industry, right? So this is a research which we have created. What you'll be surprised to see that food processing today has relatively lower impact of the COVID, right? So demand scenario down is only by 3%. Profitability of EBITDA margin of all food processing business remains more or less same. There is no regulatory challenges. Working capital cycle is stretched, but only by 10 days, vis-a-vis lot many other manufacturing sector. Within the food processing, and this is what we say that people has to differentiate between as a lending institution and as a financing institution. And some of your viewers जो सुन रहे हैं अभी और किस कैटेगरी में आप हैं और आपको फाइनेंसिंग कैसे चाहिए अभी सोचने की जरूरत है. Within the food processing, now we divide that there are big positives and big negatives. So discretionary spend food processing, dressing and condiments, ice cream, frozen, dairy, juice, energy drink is negative. So when in our food processing business today, we are not lending for these four, but we are aggressively, finding good MSME who are in any of these businesses. Savory and snacks, biscuit, tea and coffee, edible oil, breakfast cereal, pasta and noodle, because consumption has gone up. And इनसे जुड़ा हुआ जितना भी value chain है. So and that's why you see there's short-term changes and structural changes, and this will give you a sense that how we are looking at next 2 years. So consumer food manufacturing, we see that this is green for current year as well as next year. Foods and beverages and traders are red for this year and yellow for next year, and other food processing we still feel green. So actually I will this otherwise these are very details presentation, but generally I would say that one is during the pandemic what we have seen, unlike it is generally believed that all SMEs are troubled, there is massive problem, we should not lend. We launched a program called Sanjeevani, wherein we were fortunate because we had capital and liquidity both, and large institutions have supported us, and that's why 1st of July we have started relending program. In our Sanjeevani program, we created a program just for food processing because the highest non-mortality weightage, जिसको हम बोलते हैं कि बिजनेस के खत्म होने के जो चांसेस हैं सबसे कम हमको फूड प्रोसेसिंग में लगता है. That's why in Sanjeevani we created that program. That is point number one. Second, one of the ways as a financial institution we are trying to solve the problem is to look at the value chain financing, right? So what we have come to realize that the supply chain financing within the food processing industry is not looked seriously. There is lot of focus to try directly lending to MSME, which are in the sector. But the problem is that MSME, which is suppose a pulp manufacturer supplying to a sauce maker, right, which is a big company. But on an independent footing, a lender's parameter of underwriting, he will not qualify. So we have started looking what we call value chain supply system, wherein we are going to large manufacturer and anchors, which we call. So a biscuit companies, food processing, condiment, sauce companies, and उनसे जितने भी attached either उनके suppliers हैं या distributor or buyer हैं, which we call food processing value chain, where we look at the ability of the large manufacturer and his ability to pay back his value system and provide early credit so that they can continue their working capital cycle is not that stretched. So that's a few ways we are thinking of solving food processing as a sector and its MSME's problem. Fortunately, we are seeing a lot of support from even larger financial institution for onward credit to food processing as an industry. So that's I will rest, Puneet. This is what I'm exactly saying. That three things. One, we think that MSMEs in food processing sectors are still very positive in spite of the deep impact of the COVID. So any financial institution or lender which are looking at this, I think so they should open up their lending program for food processing sector at this point in time. There is less risk in that. Second, look at value chain financing, wherein rather than just independently looking at a small business, look at who he supplies to and can you rely upon that big company and his payment ability and finance that. And obviously there is a deep role of technology and analytics which we are using at this point of time. Thank you.
थैंक यू सचिंद्रा जी. जो आपने बताया बिल्कुल आई ओपनिंग, बिल्कुल रियलिटी. और मैं ये कहूँगा कि जैसे पहले सतीश जी ने जो चीज़ें मेंशन की थी उसके साथ साथ जो हकीकत है, बिकॉज वाई NBFC has their own role, एंड वाई क्रेडिट एक्सेस करना जो फार्मर या छोटे एंटरप्रेन्योर के लिए। और मुझे याद है आपकी बात सुन के मेरे दिमाग में कुछ एग्जांपल आ रहे थे। आई विल टेक 2 minutes टू शेयर समथिंग। हमारे कुछ फ्रेंड्स हैं क्योंकि जो लाइव स्टॉक में जो काम करते हैं, कोई गोट फार्मिंग में है, पिग फार्मिंग में भी हैं, डेयरी फार्मर्स हैं, बड़े जो रिस्की प्रोफेशन कह लीजिए। और ऐसे ही फार्मर जो पॉली हाउस में है, वेजिटेबल्स में है, जो जिनकी डिपेंडेंस जो है वो कई बार गलत में फंस जाती है। नॉर्मली इनको दिक्कत आती थी और लाइव स्टॉक में तो बहुत बड़ी दिक्कत थी क्रेडिट की। और when he started actually I know one of my friend who is into vegetable production, and he started packaging in COVID also. He started packaging और untouched vegetable direct retail शुरू किया। Of course वो ज़्यादा banking transactions करते थे। और one day I asked him कैसा चल रहा है। वो कह रहा कि बस ये पूछो कि खेती छोड़ने का मन कर रहा है।
हाँ बिल्कुल सही कह रहे हैं आप।
मार्केटिंग इज वेयर द प्रॉफिट इज,
Yep.
एंड मार्केटिंग में मार्जिन ज्यादा है। पास्ता, कन्फेक्शनरी, बेकरी, रिटेल, यहाँ पे सबकी नजर होती है कि पैसा यहाँ से वापस आ जाएगा, कंजम्पशन बढ़ रही है। अगर किसी की मैन्युफैक्चरिंग इस लाइन में अपनी हो, एज यू राइटली मेंशन, वो ग्रीन एंड रेड जो था हमारे लिए तो बड़ा स्केरी सीन है। आई मीन जो वेजिटेबल जो एफपीओ खास करके काम कर रहे हैं। सो ये सब्जेक्ट से बिल्कुल रिलेट करता है जो हम फूड प्रोसेसिंग की बात कर रहे हैं। तो वैल्यू एडिशन जहां होगा नेचुरली, जो शुरू में बात हुई थी, आई थिंक वन सब्जेक्ट जो हम डिस्कस कर रहे हैं, तो बड़ा अच्छा आपके सजेशन थे। अब मैं गुजारिश करूंगा हमारे साथ, क्योंकि इट इज ऑलवेज एडवाइजेबल टू लिसन डायरेक्टली फ्रॉम द मास्टर्स। सीजीएम सर हमारे साथ हैं, तो बिना वक्त गंवाए मैं गुजारिश करूंगा सीजीएम सर नबार्ड सुब्रता मंडल जी का कि वो अब हमसे हमारे सब्जेक्ट के ऊपर जो विचार है वो शेयर करें। सुब्रता सर।
धन्यवाद। Distinguished panelist, our senior Dr. P. Satish, our other dignitaries and other participants present in the virtual meeting. And first of all, so my hearty thanks to the Chambers of Commerce for organizing these important events. Under the dark cloud of COVID pandemic, the silver lining has been agriculture performance. The superior performance of agriculture sector is owing to the good Rabi harvest and monsoon. Food grain production has touched 295.67 million ton, with record growth over last 4 years, that is 2016 to 19. Further, CRISIL projects agriculture growth at 2.5% for 2020-21. It is right time to boost agriculture post-harvest and food processing sector at farm gate. And NABARD, on its part, is playing a active role by stepping up the availability of refinance, timely refinance to banks, providing financial assistance to state government and corporation for the creation of much needed infrastructure, especially in rural area, and provide loan to various state-owned corporations for their procurement operation. In order to ensure uninterrupted flow of credit to farmers for their agriculture operation and overcome the liquidity problem being faced by the rural financing institution due to COVID-19 pandemic, NABARD has extended so far special liquidity support of rupees 25,000 crores to enhance liquidity of cooperative bank, regional rural bank, and microfinance institution. It is expected to benefit more than 3 crores farmers. The bank also been advised to extend moratorium on town loan and working capital till 31st August 2020. And this is over and above the financial assistance of 1.05 lakhs crores for seasonal agriculture operation and 90,000 crores for long-term refinance for bank for meeting the credit requirement for agriculture and allied sector targeted by NABARD during 2020-21. For West Bengal, NABARD Kolkata Regional Office has extended the special liquidity support of 1,070 crores to rural financial institutions, including the MFI, for providing credit to farmers and self-help group ahead of Kharif sowing. So, as a result, these banks are not facing any liquidity crisis and are able to cater to the needs of the farmers. NABARD has planned to disburse near 60,000 crores to boost infrastructure development. Besides, we have decided to extend concessional refinance at 3% to banks for financing credit needs of the people in NABARD associated watershed development and tribal development project in India. Concessional refinance also be extended at the rate of 3% to PACs to enable this ground level cooperative institution to offer multi-services to the farmers and rural entrepreneurs. As we discussed today, the saturation of KCC is one of the prime concern. Accordingly, a special drive has been initiated to provide concessional credit of 2 lakh crores to 20 million farmers under Kisan Credit Card. For the state of West Bengal, NABARD, in association with the state government and with bank, has initiated a drive to bring 20 lakh non-loany farmers under the fold of KCC. As you are aware this thing that now animal husbandry, dairy and fishery farmers are also will get the KCC so that formal credit is available to the agriculture sector. Additional liquidity of rupees 5,000 crores will be provided to dairy cooperative through 2% interest subvention, benefiting nearly 2 crores farmers under Dairy Infrastructure Fund. One of the burning issues is the financing tenant farmer rural leasing. NABARD is encouraging formation and credit support to joint liability group by providing special incentive to banks. Simultaneously, might be knowing this thing that recently that Contact Farming Act has been amended by passing this ordinance. So there is need to promote contact farming due to recent ordinance of the Contact Farming Act. There is need for Land Leasing Act to be amended in the state of West Bengal. In 1992, NABARD piloted the formation and credit linkage of 500 self-help group with bank branches. Today, SHG Bank Linkage Program is one of the largest microfinance initiative in the world. NABARD has initiated digitization of self-help group under eShakti portal in 250 districts in the country, of which 12 districts are in West Bengal. This will enable maintaining uniform books of account by SHGs and facilitate banks in credit appraisal of SHG through auto grading and auto generation of loan application. SHG members are getting SMS alert about their saving loan transaction, thereby establishing transparency among themselves. Recent announcement of Government of India about the Agri Infrastructure Fund of rupees 1 lakh crores, Animal Husbandry Infrastructure Development Fund with a corpus of 15,000 crores, and proposal to form 10,000 farmers producer organizations across the country are expected to be game changers in terms of how the agriculture ecosystem will be positively impacted in the years to come. NABARD is actively involved in implementation of these schemes. Post-harvest losses in India amount to 13 billion annually. In the case of grains, it is estimated to be around 10%. For horticulture produce, farmers' losses are estimated at 25 to 30%. Warehouse Infrastructure Fund was distributed by Government of India with a corpus of 5,000 crores in 2013-14 with NABARD to provide to public and private players for creation and augmentation of decentralized modern scientific storage facilities, leveraging credit facility for farmers against stored produce to mitigate the problem of distressed sale and realize better price for produce after harvest. So that is the gray area. So at present, farmer has to sell their produce after the harvest immediately. So that is the distress sale was there. So now this after construction of the warehouse, the farmers can keep their produce in the warehouse, and against the receipt, they can take the bank loan and go for the sowing of the next crop. And when price will go up, that time they will sell their produce. They will take out from the warehouse, sell the produce. So distress sale will be taken, and they will realize a better price after harvest. Warehouse Infrastructure Fund corpus was augmented with a further allocation of 5,000 crores in 2014-15. NABARD has financed 7,714 projects enabling creation of additional scientific storage capacity of 128 lakh ton with financial support of rupees 9,854 crores. Union Budget has announced geotagging of warehouses and cold storage unit by NABARD. NABARD has piloted geotagging of warehouse in 2 states, Tamil Nadu and Haryana. Farmers will soon be able to use an app to track the nearest warehouses and cold storage units to store their perishable and non-perishable agricultural produce and thereby prevent crops from going waste. Farmers will get a warehouse receipt credit, and this will help in stopping the distress sale by farmers and help them to get the right price for their produce. Under Food Processing Fund, NABARD has sanctioned term loan of 6,003.53 crores for 12 mega food parks, 4 agro-processing clusters, 6 individual food processing units with a cumulative disbursement of 356.13 crores. The borrowing entities were the state government owned entities, special purpose vehicle, federation, companies, partnership firm, limited liability partners. 15 states have been covered, including northeastern states. The announcement of rupees 1 lakh crores Agriculture Infrastructure Fund is a much needed initiative for the betterment of small and marginal farmers whose considerable yield gets spoiled due to lack of storage facilities. It will fund agri-infrastructure project at farm gate and aggregation points, that is PACs, farmers producer organization, agriculture entrepreneurs, startup. So they will get this fund. The duration of this fund will be till 2029. Under the schemes, the fund will be provided by banks and financial institutions as loan with interest subvention of 3% per annum and credit guarantee coverage under the Credit Guarantee Fund Trust for Micro and Small Enterprises schemes for loan up to 2 crores. PACs will get term loan at 4%, which with interest subvention under Agriculture Infrastructure Fund will come down to just 1%. This fund will help in creating better storage facilities, that is warehouses, modern cold storage, food processing unit, silos, assessing, grading, packaging unit, e-marketing point linked to e-trading platform, ripening chamber, beside custom hiring center, PPP project for crop aggregations in villages. The shelf life of the perishable product will be increased and losses of small and marginal farmers will drop. You know this thing that since independence, where NABARD, Government of India giving our state government and all policymakers giving more of thrust of the production, increasing production and productivity. My predecessor, earlier speakers talk about this, but time has come to increase the enhance the income of the farmers. So number 1982, after formation, we are giving first on the promotion of the Farmers Club, that is because voluntary buying, now it is Farmers Club, to create a common platform for farmers for adopting technology. At present, it is being consolidated to form the Farmers Producer Organization for collectivization of agriculture input and aggregation of outputs, and linking with the market so as to enable the farmers to realize better price and making the farming profitable. Now the issue is that how to make the agriculture profitable. So this is the only way out to make agriculture profitable. At present, 7,000 FPOs promoted by NABARD in the country, of which 3,000 FPOs have been promoted in the state of West Bengal. 80 to 90% members in FPOs are small and marginal farmers. The social capital building, availability of professional manpower in rural areas, and collateral-free credit support on affordable terms are major challenges in promoting Farmers Producer Organization. NAFKISAN Financial Limited has extended collateral-free loan of 250 crores to Farmers Producer Organization. Recently announced scheme for formation and promotion of new 10,000 Farmers Producer Organization across the country will focus on the concept of one district, one product to promote formation of value chain, processing and export. Farmers Producer Organization will be formed and promoted by cluster-based business organization, CBBBO. Each block, 2 FPO will be promoted. Matching equity grant up to 15 lakhs per FPO and credit guarantee up to bank loan of rupees 2 crores will be provided by NABARD. Bankers Institute of Rural Development, Lucknow, BARD Lucknow, has been identified as central nodal training institution. On marketing, now I'm coming to marketing. On present marketing structure, it is not in favor of small and marginal farmers. Marketing infrastructure fund of 2,000 crores with NABARD will develop and upgrade agricultural marketing infrastructure in the 10,000 Grameen agriculture market and 585 FMC. The reform in FMC Act will encourage the private investment in marketing, and NABARD is ready to support private market operated by FPO, which will help the farmers in better price discovery. So here, all the now mandis FPOs are operated by the Mandi Samiti. Now, due to this recent amendment, now all the private market will be operated by the Farmers Producer Organization. So NABARD, the 2,000 crores, the fund is there to develop the Grameen agriculture market. We are visualizing this thing. This Grameen agriculture market will be operated by the FPO, and NABARD will directly invest to this market. Unorganized microprocessing unit needs incentive, handholding support for skill training, entrepreneurship, technology, credit, marketing across the value chain, necessitating active participation of the state government for better outreach. Through the recent announcement, Prime Minister formalization of Micro Food Processing Enterprises Scheme, FME, the 2 lakhs microprocessing unit will be directly assisted with credit-linked subsidy to the extent of 10 lakhs, that is at the rate of 35% of the TFO. And scheme aims to enhance the competitiveness of the existing individual micro enterprise in the unorganized segment of the food processing industries and promote formalization of the sector and support Farmers Producer Organization, self-help group, producer cooperatives among their entire value chain. The benefit of these schemes will be that eligible entities will be able to get subsidy as well as interest subvention on the credit. Under the schemes, beside the 30% credit linked capital subsidy, SHG will get 40,000 as seed capital. For branding and marketing support, assistance will be provided 50% of the exposure limit. So proposal to be submitted to the state level nodal agency along with the DPR. In the case of the in the case of West Bengal, the nodal department is the food processing department. Under cooperative development, my predecessor, Dr. Satish mentioned, the under cooperative development fund, NABARD has sponsored the establishment of the PAX development cell in DCCBs and supporting the creation of infrastructure, including computerization in PAX. Further, many small and medium-sized NBFC and MFI, despite having a strong business model and sound corporate governance, have found it difficult to raise debt. Hence, NABARD with its partner, Northern Arc and BBDT Capital has newly launched structured finance and partial credit guarantee to NBFC MFI so as to help this institution raise liquidity from banks and small finance bank. The funding will happen through the pool loan issuance mechanism where NABARD and its partner will provide partial guarantee to a set of loan extended by a bank or a small finance bank to the NBFC MFI clients. This structure provides the bank adequate comfort to higher credit projections, reduce capital requirement as the credit rating of the guaranteed loan are better while meeting the priority sector lending. I hope this pool loan issuance mechanism can facilitate financing for the food processing sector as well. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your valuable inputs. And we know NABARD has a fabulous work and rural development, and the portfolio, as we have seen in recent years, it has increased with more responsibility. Now NABARD has undertaken for project like FPOs, and we are very happy to see in the new infrastructure fund the subvention which Government of India has announced of 3% subvention. I think this will also help give a boost to agriculture and food processing sector. Thank you, sir, for your comments and suggestion. Dosto, now we have a time for a question, answer, and submission or comments. So you are welcome to ask any question to our participant, or you want to share any view, you are most welcome.
पुनीत जी, मंडल जी के लिए मेरा एक छोटा रिक्वेस्ट था, अगर मैं 1 मिनट ले सकूं तो
प्लीज सर, कैरी ऑन।
सो सुब्रता मंडल जी, ये जो स्कीम नाबार्ड ने लॉन्च करी है विवृत्ति और नॉर्दर्न आर्क के लिए, इसमें कवरेज आपने सिर्फ एनबीएफसी एमएफआई का किया है, but a large number of NBFCs like Ugro and others who are financing food processing sector and also suffering from liquidity crunch from the banks. So अगर एक similar coverage या तो current scheme में coverage या NBFC especially for onward lending to food processing sector अगर वो add की जा सके तो I think so liquidity for NBFCs will also increase through this, sir.
Yeah, you can send the approach paper to us. We'll consider it.
Sure.
The small MFIs, they are facing the problem, NBFC MFI, or mobilize the fund. So we are giving the partial guarantee so that they can mobilize the fund from the banks and other things, and the comfort lending will be ensured.
Yeah. So same can be extended to NBFCs also, sir. So I definitely will send it to you.
थैंक यू सर। मेरा भी एक सजेशन कह लीजिए या एक ऑब्जर्वेशन था। सचिंद्र जी, आप भी बिकॉज एनबीएफसी से भी और मेन स्ट्रीम बैंकिंग से भी रिलेटेड हमारी एक ऑब्जर्वेशन थी यहाँ एफपीओ में काम करने की। फूड प्रोसेसिंग सेक्टर में यहाँ एक हरियाणा, गवर्नमेंट ऑफ हरियाणा के काफ़ी अच्छा एक प्रोग्राम है, क्रॉप क्लस्टर डेवलपमेंट प्रोग्राम, और हम बड़े खुश थे व्हेन दिस प्रोग्राम वाज डिजाइंड। और इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर के ऊपर पूरे इंडिया में आई थिंक ऐसा प्रोग्राम नहीं होगा जिसमें एफपीसी के लिए, जो फार्मर प्रोड्यूसर कंपनीज हैं, इनके लिए अप टू 90% उन्होंने कैपिटल जो ग्रांट है, कैपिटल सब्सिडी थी। तो हम काफ़ी खुश थे कि अब जो बैंक है तकरीबन 5 या 10% हमारा एफपीसी का शेयर इक्विटी रहेगा और बाकी हमें बैंक से क्रेडिट मिल जाएगा। सॉरी, अब आपको हैरानी ये होगी कि गवर्नमेंट से प्रोग्राम आने के बाद फार्मर अपनी इक्विटी भी इकट्ठी उन्होंने भी कर ली। 6 करोड़ तक, अप टू 6 करोड़ का प्रोजेक्ट था। Now what happened or what was the missing link, that in spite of 90% of grant and 5 to 10% of share, जो रिमेनिंग 5% तक का बीच में कुछ बचता था, क्योंकि 70 to 90% मान के चलिए ग्रांट थी, द 5 और 8% जो क्रेडिट था मेन स्ट्रीम बैंक से, हमें वो नहीं मिल पाया ना। उसमें हमने स्टेट गवर्नमेंट को रिक्वेस्ट किया कि बेटर यू मेक दीज प्रोडक्ट, इसको बैक एंडेड की बजाय डायरेक्ट कर दो, वी विल कंट्रीब्यूट अवर 20% एंड देन रिमेनिंग ग्रांट आ जाएगी। Now, what point I want to make through CGM, sir, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि if NBFC can rope in such a situation, we can afford to pay or contribute 20% of capital, but in case banks, mainstream bank या public sector bank, वो हमें funding initially due to certain reason, and frankly अगर मैं बताना भी चाहूँ without any hesitation, at personal level I have talked to the bankers कि यार दिक्कत क्या है, गवर्नमेंट 6 करोड़ में से 5.5 की ग्रांट दे रही है और फार्मर अपना कंट्रीब्यूशन लगा रहे हैं ना, व्हाट इज द कंस्ट्रेंट कहाँ है लोन देने में। ऑब्वियसली कह रहे यार पर्सनल लेवल पे बात ये है कि हमें एफपीसी जैसा कंसेप्ट गवर्नमेंट प्रमोट तो कर रही है, लेकिन इसमें हमें ऑनरशिप नजर नहीं आती। आप इंडिविजुअली आओ, आपको हम लोन देते हैं। सो सर, दिस इज द चैलेंज एंड द ग्राउंड रियलिटी। तो इफ एनबीएफसी कैन प्ले दैट रोल, हाउ इट विल बी, दैट्स माय ऑब्जर्वेशन। आई लाइक टू seek your guidance on this.
Fine. See, so NBFC is being allowed to finance this the food processing sector or FPO also. And so far is the new policy announced by the government of India, the promotion of the 10,000 FPO. Under that, then credit guarantee will be provided by NABARD. Okay. So earlier the banks was reluctant to give the finance. So now with the ability of the credit guarantee and interest subvention, I think bank would be more comfortable to finance it. One. Second thing is that now BAT has BARD, Bank and Institute Rural Development, has been identified as the central national institute for giving training to the bankers as well as all the clients, as well as that professional people associated with the FPOs. So after when the intensive training will be there, so the mindset will be changed, because initially SHG Bank linkage program, same problem was there. Banks also reluctant to finance it. A series of capacity building training awareness program was there, and now banks are comfortable to finance SHG. Similarly, the FPO is a new concept, and now the government has now supporting this, that the bankers institute rural development now identified for giving the training capacity building. I hope this with that and with the availability of the credit guarantee fund provided by the NABARD, so the flow to the credit by the banks will increase.
Thank you, sir. Yes, we observe that there is a missing link in understanding and the way at the ground level bankers they consider the FPOs in a different way. And I hope in a new policy and with new intervention with NABARD, this gap will be filled. Madhu ma'am, any update on Special Secretary sir, if he is able to join, or we take some question and then we wrap up?
Yeah, in the cabinet secretary meeting, so I don't think he would be able to join right now, because he wanted to join, but I don't think, because we have already done with the thing. He is still trying, but you take up the questions from the chat box. There are some important questions, mostly for NABARD. So sir is with us. If you can kindly take up some of the
Can you help me in taking those questions? Yeah.
Okay, you cannot see the chat box?
I could see a good afternoon message, and Gopika has left a message. A government away a lot of subsidy and scheme for the farmer common people, but unfortunately it is not reaching to the ground level. A very practical observation by Gopika. Is there any question you can see?
They are saying that what are the schemes and funds available from NABARD for new farmers who possesses substantial land in Nagaland, mainly Northeast?
Okay. Mandal sir, would you like to respond?
Or Mr. Satish can also speak.
Oh, Mr. Satish ji?
So
for a new farmer who has their substantial land? Is there any scheme or funds available?
But there is no, as you know, as Mr. Mandal also mentioned that NABARD directly doesn't finance any farmer. Whatever is finance has to be done by the local level bank.
Banks.
NABARD can only refinance the bank or cover under any subsidy scheme. So, main what I could say is that the direct linkage point for a farmer or enterprise would be his regular banker. But if he wants any technical input with regard to the NABARD schemes and all, NABARD's regional offices are there in each state. NABARD's DDMs are there in most of the districts. So they will be the focal point for them to put in touch with their local banks and give them additional information as to what are the types of schemes available and all.
Okay. There is another observation from Jorhat, one FPO, that they have approached DTM at Jorhat in the month of May for a FPO formation. But it is informed that new FPO formation is on hold as new guidelines will come from ministry. Sir, any input from you, sir?
This guideline is earlier, initially 2011, they were created the corpus of 50 crores for creation of the Farmers Producer Organization. In 2014-15, the Union Budget announced giving the 200 crores for promotion of 2,000 FPOs. Now thereafter, out of NABARD has created another fund, the PODF fund, for promotion of the FPO. Now the government has announced the policy, the 10,000 FPO to be promoted. Now Jorhat, whatever the new FPOs are there, that will be covered under the new policy guideline. And then under the policy guideline, that one district, one produce, the concept is there. Second is there, it should be identified, promotion should be done by the cluster-based business organizations, which will be identified at NABARD. And district level committee, the convener is the DDM and chairman is the district collector. They will approve these activities. Okay, this activity and FPO, and that will go to the state to national level. So that's totally changed. So that's why we're waiting for that. The government already issued the operation guideline, and the state government has to constitute this as the committee. Like in case of West Bengal, we're waiting for the state government clearance. So once they clear it, then it will be rolled out.
Thank you. Another question, I think Mr. Puneet can answer this. How about engaging with small farmers to aggregation, do this, or simply take the land on lease? So that
I would like, yes.
Mr. Puneet?
See, aggregation, there are two way to look at this. Traditionally, the aggregators are already there for all the crops. They are very actively handling the produce in all over the country. We can easily find aggregator at a local mandi handling produce or handling or aggregating milk and then supplying to the milk plant. Aggregators are already there, but now what happened after the introduction of FPO concept? Farmer themselves are organizing in a company or in a cooperative to play that role. They are becoming the aggregator now, and they are not consolidating their land. Basically, they are consolidating their produce, because land is a very sensitive matter in India. It is now recently the government has announced contract farming lease agreement that has given some confidence among the farmer to give land on lease. But traditionally, we have always seen a land purchase or land acquire as a very sensitive subject. So generally, farmer contribute their produce in a producer company, and they automatically they become the aggregator. And next role FPO play is to link their produce directly to the processor, to the terminal market, to the retail customer. That kind of role they are playing as an aggregator. Now, what intervention Maharashtra, Gujarat, and other states we have also formed this federation. after formation of FPO at a particular level, when you have a sizable number of FPOs, then FPO federate into one company to become a federation of FPO like Northern Farmers. That's why we call it mega FPO. Mega FPO is an aggregator of aggregators. There are a lot of activities that we can suitably handle through a mega FPO at a regional level. But there are some ground level activity of aggregation that our FPO handling, washing, grading, and cold chain, pre-cooling. These kind of activity our FPO handle as an aggregator. Or now government has allowed a land lease agreement. So FPO and the private aggregator or investor, anyone can take land on lease. So it is legally allowed for everyone. I hope this is clear to their question.
Thank you. Another question is they have this thing. Is there any special financial support for vegetable exporters?
Would you like to mention something?
No, of course, I have only a broad idea because there is one agency called APEDA, Agricultural Products Export Development Agency.
Yes.
They have various schemes where they subsidize and also provide technical support for the agri exports. In that, they have one part which also includes like some support for the getting all the certifications, some support to get registrations and all. So I think they will have to get in touch directly with APEDA for any support with regard to that. And if they can fit into their one of the existing APEDA schemes, I think they can mobilize that support from there. Yeah.
I can see one question or observation that the role of aggregator has not obsolete with the FPO. I think now everyone has their own business plan. FPO, they are also becoming now aggregator, and the conventional aggregator, they are already there. APMC with new amendment of APMC Act, now one nation, one market. Produce can travel from one part to other without any restriction. So new business models are emerging, and FPO are playing a new role just than production as they have been doing in the past. So conventional player will be there. They have been doing this role for ages. Now FPO are learning to play their role in a new way.
Here, it's on agri entrepreneurs will be their startup. New startup will emerge. Will collect this thing, FPO's product, and linking to the processing industry export house, like you said. So now they're taking the scope for the agri startup will be there, and they'll take care of this gap.
Thank you, sir. So Puneet ji, और कुछ है?
Thank you. I think, Madhu ma'am, it was a wonderful session. I would request you to share final words of vote of thanks.
Thank you very much. We are really thankful to our attendees, our participants who were there with us for last almost 1 and 44 minutes. We are very grateful to NABARD for their support. We are very, very grateful to Mr. Mandal for his valued presence. We are very, very grateful to Mr. P. Satish, Mr. Puneet Singh Thin, Mr. Rashpal Singh, and Mr. Sachindra Nath for his support and sponsorship. We are also very, very thankful to all the participants and also representatives from media. With these words, we are coming to the end. We will prepare the press note and also a brief report which will be shared with you, and also today's proceedings will be shared with all our participants and also with the panelists. Thank you very much.
Thank you.